Rugby League is about to make history as Eastern Suburbs make their way onto the Sydney Football Stadium for this, the first match of the 1988 Winfield Cup. Some nervous boys there.
Nervous and plenty of determination. The pre-season's gone, the trials are over. This is 2 points. This is Winfield Cup, it's up for grabs. And a very, very important start for both Eastern Suburbs and St George.
And that is what awaits them as they make their way to the arena on a wet night in Sydney. Huey McGann, the skipper of the Eastern Suburbs side, just waiting for the right moment to enter the arena. The festivities have been going on here for about half an hour. And now the footballers are ready. Here they come. The Eastern Suburbs Roosters make their way onto the Sydney Football Stadium.
The sign said East are great in '88. There's been a lot of confidence in all league circles that this is going to be one of the sides to beat for the Winfield Cup. And here comes the opposition, St George.
It takes two teams to make history, and St George is the other. Going into the match as underdogs, but very, very determined to make a real encounter of this. The butterflies in the stomach.
And a ton of pressure on the Saints. A new coach for the season, Ted Gossip. And a lot of pressure on the shoulders of this man here, their skipper, Craig Young. He must play well this season. When he hits the line and takes the St George attack forward, they really do fire.
Well, to do that, he's got to have runners, and I've been talking to Craig Young in the last couple of weeks about this match, and he was a little bit loath to be critical of some of the teammates that he's had, but I can say as a commentator, he's really gone out on a limb this last couple of seasons with no runners at all for the St George side. He wants them tonight.
Well, if that's going to be the case, the pressure will be on the back rowers. He'll be looking for people like Graham Wynn and Colin Fraser and Jeff Selby to support him. There's the side of the magnificent new Sydney Football Stadium, and the referee for this history-making clash tonight, Greg McCallum.
The magnificent stadium, $60-odd million, and it looks fantastic. Everything is in readiness. Referee McCallum blows time on. The 1988 Winfield Cup is underway. And Ricky Walford picks it up for St George. Caught just about 11 metres out from his own line. Craig Young's made a mess of it. Scooped back and fallen on by Seamus O'Connell for Eastern Suburbs, and already the fisticuffs are on. Bit of pushing and shoving. Everybody keyed up for this encounter. Referee McCallum putting the scrum down for both knock-ons, worked by Bridge. Referee McCallum not happy with it. Penalty's gone to East. So this penalty differential, of course, just inside the corner line. Not the greatest of starts for Craig Young. Now the tap. Here come the Eastern Suburbs side. Shepherd. Marshall the hooker. Away to Mackay, the veteran John Mackay. East have tried a number of props in the trials, had a lot of injuries. Line side is French, back to Marshall. Put down by Selby. 10 metres out from the St George line, Gary Bridge. A long ball across to Hall, onto Melrose, but the defence from St George is very good. Brad Mackay moving up quickly. Now McGann getting it away to Smith. Playing it forward. Still going strongly, but the defence closes in on the last tackle. And that'll be the first changeover of the match. Pressure for St George in the early stages. Here's O'Connell running away from dummy half. St George player down, injured already in the match. Fraser. Cross to Young. Young takes the tackle of McGann, 12 metres out from the St George line.
Out they go wide, St George. Gill, the little kick. Well, Beattie was claiming as though there was some interference there, but in fact McCallum was turning around and saying you were in front of the kicker. So from their own quarter line they were trying to attack. They tried something, it didn't work, and the chance to post first points through David Smith. Been out through injury in the last two trials that Eastern Suburbs have played, David Smith. And now he's back. Very important. Won some matches right at the death for Eastern Suburbs last year with his goal kicking. A couple of memorable matches at Henson Park where he put goals over from the sideline. Both sides still feeling each other out and coming up with quite a few mistakes. This kick for Smith, some 32 metres out and just to the side of the left-hand upright. 40 goals for this man in 1987, his first attempt in 88. And he's got it. So the first goal at the Sydney Football Stadium goes into the record books for David Smith. East 2, St George 0. Walford. Johnston, both wingers coming in there to recover and play support for that kick. Trevor Bailey looks for the sideline and finds it too. That's a great kick from the little hooker.
Yes, on the State Bank replay, this will come up as a very, very good kick. He took the odds to it, and he's got himself a gain of about 35 yards.
Gary Bridge feeding for the Roosters, and against the feed, away comes St George. Peter Gill trying to get to his feet quickly. Gentle. Craig Young, back inside it goes to Bailey. Trewella's there. First real chance for St George now to really put the pressure on. Fraser tending to run one out. O'Connell. Last tackle for the Saints. Pretty gentle. Gill. Up it goes. Anybody's ball. Brian Johnston comes up with it, and Brian Johnston will crush for the try from St George. Well, they all looked around. Nobody wanted the football. It came into the hands of Brian Johnston. The defence held off, and it was all too easy.
Yeah, the State Bank replay shows clearly the way this try came. Up goes the kick. It's a well-weighted kick. It's gone high enough for the players to get underneath on the charge. They've gone up. Johnson gets it on the rebound. It came back to him from one of his own players. He surges straight ahead, and he's a very tough man to pull down close to the line. And from another angle, we'll watch it again as they players run towards us. Up goes the kick very, very high, allowing everyone time to come through and get onside. Watch it hit a St George player. Number 5, Walford, was the player there, or Gill it was, number 6. And he gets it on the ricochet to Johnson, and Johnson's in for a good try.
Brian Johnston, 29 years of age, been a great player from St George since 1980. Not finding himself on the wing tonight, but finding himself for a try. Ricky Walford, the kicker. He's paying the penalty for being tentative and not going to attack that bomb. Walford, 1 out of 1 for him. So St George 6, Eastern Suburbs 2.
Marshall, a dummy half. This is Mackay. Able to offload to McGann. On to Hall. Hall looks for support, found it too in Smith. 12 metres out from the Saints line. They want to quick play the ball. They haven't got it. Marshall making about 2 metres, and East come up with a penalty. Wynn comes up with the ball, and obviously the referee, Mr. McCallum, had called for the ball to be played.
Well, the State Bank replay shows the St George player there coming up with the ball, and it's obviously the intention of the referee was that it was stolen.
So we may well see Brett Papworth's introduction to the real stuff. Melrose is being assisted to the sideline. So we look to have Papworth going on for Melrose very shortly. But back to the kick. There's Melrose. Smith from right in front. And making no mistake, George still cling to the leader. 6 points to 4.
Papworth. So a man short out on the wing, St George. Walford's down on the sideline. McGahn standing a little bit flat east. Needs somebody to straighten it up. So Walford's back into position. Gary Bridge. He straightened Eastern Suburbs attack up in the clash with West last Sunday. John Mackay, he's worked hard in this first half. St George still clinging to that lead. 6 to 4. Clinton Moore. Plenty of numbers there for East too. Good tackle from Huey McGahn. The skipper starting to try and drive these Roosters. 20 metres out from St George's goal line. Brad Mackay continues well. He's lost it. And a quick passing is required here. Gary Bridge. Bridge, they must score. Surely, Papworth. Well, Brian Johnston did well there to hang off. He didn't come in and commit himself to Gary Bridge. He let the cover defence have time to come across. Now they try and shift it again. Gilmeister. Short pass, but Gary Worth went behind him, and without it. And Graham Wynn picks up for St George. So there really has been problems communication-wise for the Roosters. We see St George come back now. Johnson, he's still going. Well, he just ran out of support. He had support back on the inside.
Caught by Mackay. Great tackle.
Well, here's a sin bin. Jason Williams. Johnston was trying to get to his feet quickly. St George had the advantage. And Greg McCallum said 5 minutes in the bin.
Here's the State Bank replay. Johnson, as I said, should be in the centre. He got caught with a magnificent tackle from behind by John Mackay, and then Williams held him down. He got up and pushed him away, and really got a very deserving penalty, as well as 5 minutes in the sin bin for Williams.
So the pressure well and truly on East, down to 12 men for 5 minutes. St George just outside their quarter line. What can they lay on here? Johnston again involved. Stands and unloads easily. Tackles falling off him. Marshall. Trevor Bailey, I should say, going straight for the goal line. St George well and truly on a roll now. Gill, gentle. Well, grabbed beautifully by Beattie and Graham Wynn. They had to score. They had to score, St George. They had the numbers out wide. And the Saints fans celebrate at the new Sydney Football Stadium.
State Bank replay. When the Saints go marching in, do they march? Look at this chain passing along the line. They were going to score all the time, so long as nobody dropped the ball. It was just magnificent. Out it went after that great run from Marshall. Out quickly along the line. And there's Wynn coming up with the ball now. Throws the dummy. 2 defenders have gone past. And he's in for the first try. Again from ground level. Out she sweeps. It's a very ordinary sort of move. It's something that St George have been doing in the past. In their good years, they looked great when they'd made a break and then they would spin it out quickly. Well, it's come back tonight, and Graham Wynn's reaped the benefit.
And Diddy Watt, 28 years of age. He's represented Australia. And Ted Glossop looking for a big season from the big man.
Billy Anderson, nice look good from you where you are.
Yes, it did. It was a great try, but I think that amplifies the impact that the loss of Melrose is going to have on this game. Not only is they're going to lose his kicking, which is very important to them, but I think the Eastern Suburbs back line looks very skinny without his defence.
They certainly do. 11 goals and 87 for Ricky Walford. Well, he's hit the upright. Looked good, but he's hit the upright. So St George 10, East 4.
Shepherd Taking it up towards the quarter line. Marshall dummy half. Here's Mackay. Out of one. Running strongly. He's played well tonight so far, John Mackay. One of the veterans in the Eastern Suburbs side. Penalty has gone to East. Another one. And sin bin.
5 minutes for Seamus O'Connell.
Seamus O'Connell, 5 minutes in the sin bin.
State Bank replay clearly shows Seamus getting the big hand right in the middle of the chest of Mackay and holding him down. No doubt about it. Has to go.
And he's hit it particularly well. It's a very good kick right between the posts. So it's now St George 10 leading Eastern Suburbs 6.
Craig Young. 2 and 3 players in support as he hits the line. Back it goes now. Graham Wynn, right up the middle, looking for support. He has it on the inside, but there was plenty of defence there. Selby was on the inside. He was wrapped up by Bridge. Gill back into Johnston. Breaking tackles, Brian Johnston. And it goes to Beattie. He keeps it alive. Moore can't control it. Well, St George putting it together there. We have a touch judge in. Greg McCallum has called a halt to the play. I would think that the touch judge, this would have to go St George's way if he's going to call a halt. They had lost possession, so this could be for a player being interfered with in back play, trying to support Graham Wynn. He had support outside and inside. He chose Selby. The man being called up is Hugh McGann. And Walford, 1 from 2, but his second attempt hitting the upright.
Critical kick just before half-time will put them in a 12-6 situation, trying to goal away.
It's quite a dominance, Rex. 2 tries to none. They have certainly looked by far the better side.
They certainly have, and it's gone against all the pundits, myself included, who believed that, really believed that Eastern Suburbs are going to run away with this game. A man's got to be off his brain to bet on this game, you know, really.
Maybe a safer bet here with Ricky Walford. Certainly is. So that lead for St George now stretched. The Saints 12 as we hear the siren. Eastern Suburbs 6.
The Sydney Football Stadium, magnificent sight from the top of the grandstand. In fact, we're looking even higher than that. We're over the top of the cameraman, up on the top of the roof, and we've had our oxygen at half-time. It's almost like calling a game of football from a jumbo jet, isn't it, Rex?
Yes, I believe there we are up at the commentary position. You can see the rain coming down now.
Now Gentle. Now Craig Young. Craig Young with nowhere to go. Almost ran into the back of Selby. Well, a bit of misunderstanding in the early part of the second half. As O'Connell found good support. Running away to the corner line is Fraser. Fraser is caught though in a good tackle by Worth. As Saints turn on the pressure. Out to Selby, on to Gill. Gill looking back inside. No one there. Last tackle now for the Saints. Walford to dummy half. A little kick through. Mistake. Try to Graham Wynn for St George. Awful mistake from Eastern Suburbs. Just awful, and the toothy grin of Graham Wynn says it all.
The State Bank replay, Beattie was the man that decided to put the kick through. The bodies of 2 Eastern Suburbs players, Worth was there. There was just no action taken by the defending side that was going to stop that try being scored. There was the mishandle, and straight over went Wynn. Beattie's kick was a beautifully judged little kick. Little toe punt along the ground. Gilmeister was the man that made the meal of it. Worth didn't attempt it. And our man Wynn was there, and he's having a bit to say at the moment too about let's get stuck in.
Now Walford's conversion attempt is there. Wow, 18 points to 6, St George lead East. Are we heading for a boil over? And Spina is on there for Eastern Suburbs. And here's Hall. Now here's Worth moving out towards Gary Bridge, who's playing in the centre. Hall. Still going very close to the touchline. Williams dummy half to Truella. Just over 19,000 fans here for the start of the 1988 Winfield Cup. Shepherd's pass is picked up by Smith. The tackle count restarted. He's touched in flight. Dane's dummy half. Away goes Mackay. Eastern Suburbs desperately need to get back into this game. Trailing by 12 points. Play situated about 30 metres out. Here's a penalty to East. This will help. Against Bailey. Not allowing the tackle player to get up. Salvatore, Craig Salvatore, doing some stretching and warming up on the sideline. He, of course, is another attacking player for East, and it's points they need. The bird's eye view as we see it from the top of the stand. Now Smith, vital kick for East. I think the point's vital for them at this stage. Makes no mistake, hits it particularly well. So East narrow the gap a little. It's 18 points to 8. St George over East.
St George on the attack now, Mackay. Young Brad Mackay. Gill just from dummy half. Right on halfway. Young, a short ball now. Graham Wynn enjoying his work tonight. He's been involved, heavily involved. Bailey always looking to try and crib that yardage from the dummy half position. Gentle. Gill. Good ball to Moore. Equally good pass. There's support back on the inside. Beattie trying to find it now. Walford. Well, I thought the pass might have been a touch forward. Great try though for St George. There was plenty of players in support. It was a line ball and McCallum was right on the spot. And this game getting way away from Eastern Suburbs now.
State Bank replay will clear up the forward pass if there was one. There's the good intrusion coming from Moore, the fullback who chimed in to make the extra man. He gets the pass onto Beattie. Beattie goes well. He gets a pass away which looked fairly marginal. We can't tell from that angle. And onto Walford, and Walford's in for the try. That was a first-class bit of football. Good sweeping passes. There's the way that he created the opening by doing a little bit of a jig with the ball and going a few yards then before giving it out to Beattie. Beattie props, goes back on the inside, gets a pass. It did look fractionally forward, but the referee was directly in line with it. So Walford scores the try underneath the post. Now this one might be the answer. That's Moore getting put into a gap there beautifully by Gill. Now there's Beattie striding away nicely. Watch for the pass. Well, it was a line ball evidently. The referee didn't at any time see it as a forward pass. So we've got to say that it was clear.
And no problem for Ricky Walford. Successful with that conversion from right in front. So St George racing away, 24, Eastern Suburbs 8. So East come up with the penalty. And can they hang on this time for 6 tackles without losing that ball? Mackay. Hasn't really been a dominant force around the rucks. There's been a lot of different players taking the first ball off the ruck for East, trying to get something started. McGahn, Spina, Worth. Dancing round, but good defence from St George. Truella. Gains good yardage. Switch of play. Up quickly with St George. Well, Walford went for the intercept. So that'll be 6 more. Steve Morris. Up, well, he's lost it. He's called the while again, 6 again. The crowd don't like it. Danes. Salvatore. Smith. And again, good defence from Brian Johnston. Jason Williams. They just can't put it together, East. They're having great trouble breaking this defensive line of St George. Spina. Mackay standing wide. Can't set himself to get free on the last tackle now for the Roosters. Back it goes for Worth for the bomb. Heading for the in-goal area. There's plenty of Eastern Suburbs players there. It goes back into the hands of Walford, who forces it. So they didn't take that ball cleanly, so that'll be the line dropout from St George. Time well and truly running out for the Roosters. Trewella. Back inside it goes for Danes. Out to Jason Williams. Gets around his man Johnson, but runs out of football field. Back inside had to go for Brendan Hall. McGann. Salvatore. Plenty of forwards living in the back line. Had early changes tonight when Tony Melrose was forced off. Papworth came on and he too was replaced. So that's had something to do with throwing East out of gear. Trewella. No problems for the St George defence. In the last tackle, McGann takes the option again of a bomb. Moore doesn't handle it. It's a try for East. Well, that's shades of going back to the Belmore Sports Ground a few weeks ago for Clinton Moore. There should have been some more support for him, but he just fumbled what looked to be an easy bomb, and Steve Morris, the man on the spot.
Yeah, this was disgraceful, really, for a first-grade footballer. Forget his youth or however old he is. He's jumped in the air, rather like a prima donna, and spilt the ball completely. Didn't attempt to put the shoulder into the opposition, turn his body side on, or even take it over the top of his shoulder. Didn't attempt anything like that, and his hands still stay down around his waist. He's got to have his hands above his shoulders. Now, we've told him that once on this program, when he put on a dreadful black in another game. He has to listen eventually.
Steve Morris, all the way back from Leeds after the off-season, comes up with a try in his first game. Not a difficult kick for David Smith. Maybe some hope for East. No problems. St George 24, Eastern Suburbs 14. So they're virtually going round in circles at the moment, the Roosters. Steve Morris sends out a long ball. David Smith. Brian Johnston and Beattie are normally the centre pairings, but they are great defensive players. Beattie showing on that occasion how good he can read the game. Well, there's an open field here for Clinton Moore. If he can get out wide, Woody decides to not look for Ricky Walford. But that's a no in rugby league, to kick to the open field with a fullback and winger. Graham Wynn. Dummy from Gill back on the inside. Craig Young. Got his arms free. Finds Trevor Bailey. On it goes to Walford. Fraser. Wynn looking for another try. Just short and pushed over. Good cover defence from Gary Worth. It was certainly called for. They kept that ball alive, St George. Short passes and a man always there to pick it up.
Beautiful stuff on the State Bank replay as we see the play swivelling round to the blind side. Wynn went very, very close to getting in there. You can see the corner post. That would have been number 3 had he got over.
John Mackay. Plenty of work for no result for him tonight. Brendan Hall. Over halfway. Can't get that ball in field. He had Gary Bridge. Well, there's the siren. A great start to the Winfield Cup in 1988 for St George. The new Sydney Football Stadium. And Eastern Suburbs, I would think, no doubt favourites for tonight's game. They've come up on the losing end and an upset to get us underway this season.
Well, there it is. St George 24, Eastern Suburbs 14 in a major boil over. Johnston, Wynn 2 tries, Walford a try, Walford 4 goals, Morris a try for Eastern Suburbs. Truthfully, it came very late in the game. Smith 5 goals. That's been a good performance. So the score 24-14.